Hello, everybody. Spider here once again with the Five Card Podcast coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. Once again, I have Frank Collazo joining me for an episode, man. Frank, welcome.
So, Spider, thanks for having me back, bro.
Yes, sir. Likewise, bro. Thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Now, earlier we were talking about events as far as like eye pokes, accidental eye pokes in the combat sports or just in general, man. But when something like that happens as a ref, what is your first instinct? What do you do?
So a lot of times you can stay ahead of it. You see, fighters in both boxing and MMA will judge distance. They'll stick their hand out to see, it's kind of getting distance of where their opponent might be at. In MMA, technically, you're supposed to have your hand closed or fingers pointed up. And we'll typically tell fighters that before a fight. Right. In the rules meeting, we've talked about that last time. But it happens. It's the sport. And I will throw out a warning. If I see a guy trying to get measured distance and his hands are poking out, I'll be like, hey, watch those fingers. You give him a hard warning. And if I got to give him 10 warnings, that's fine as long as it doesn't happen.
Right.
Once it happens, it kind of just depends on the situation. A lot of times, I would say 99 out of 100 times, it's a 100% complete accident. But here's something about sports and rules that it doesn't matter the intent. If you break the rule, you break the rule.
Right.
So the referee has the discretion, though, to say, was this malicious or not? And that's the way I see it. I don't see intent. I see if it's malicious. If I've warned a guy 5 times, like, dude, watch those fingers, and he pokes the guy in the eye, I'm more likely to take a point right then and there because I've warned you already 5 times. And it might not be in the same round, but throughout the fight, I might say, hey, watch those fingers. You're extending your hands. And maybe he didn't poke his eye. Again, you kind of just letting him know that's what I'm watching for. And trust me, the other fighter will let me know if he thinks the other guy's poking him in the eyes too much, No, so definitely. Typically, if there's an eye poke, you call a timeout. And then you send the fighter that poked the eye to his corner to sit there for a minute. And I'll check on the condition of the fighter whose eye was poked. In the rules of MMA, the only foul I can give a timeout for is a groin strike. So technically, if a fighter gets his eye poked, I need to know immediately if he's ready to fight again. Now, does that mean I'm not going to give the fighter an opportunity to recover? I'm going to do what I got to do to make sure the fighter's recovered because I don't want him to be fighting with a disadvantage. Right. So a lot of times, I'll take my time and I'll, because the time is stopped. I'll call in a doctor if I need to. Right. I'll look at it myself. I'm not a doctor. That's why we have doctors at fights. That's why smokers are illegal because you want to make sure you have licensed professional doctors there and professional refs there. And, so, I'll call a doctor and if I need to make sure his, what the doctor's opinion. A lot of times the doctor will give him a little time too. Hey, you take your time. There's no rush to get back into the fight, but there is pressure to get the fight back on because technically there is no rule for a timeout. Like a groin strike, you get 5 minutes. It's written in the rules.
Really? I had no idea.
So in the rules, if you get struck in the groin, you get 5 minutes to recover. If after that time you say, I don't know, I'm not ready, fight's over.
Call it.
And with the eye poke, there's no timeout. But we do what we got to do to make sure our fighters are prepared to go back to battle, man. Right. So we give them as much time as we can. And if a fighter says, man, I can't see, or gives me if a fighter tells me I can't see, and if he tells the doctor I can't see, I'm going to call a fight, man. Yeah. Is it fun? Is it fair? I don't know. It's the rule. I have to make a decision. Right
Fighter safety first.
Fighter safety first. And, most of the time I would say I've only had to stop, I think, in 10 years, maybe one fight from eye poke, where the fighter literally said, I can't see. My eye's black. Okay, fight's over. And I think it just depends on the fighter, too. There's some guys that will fight with one eye. They don't give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
And if they tell me they can see, and the doctor believes them, whom I'm not a doctor, so the doctor says he's okay, then he can fight. That's so. It is what it is.
Man, okay. Now, like you said, in the past 10 years, man, it's only happened once.
For me, it's only happened once, yeah.
Now, when you see this, as far as the fight gloves, I was talking about this earlier to you. McGregor came out with his own glove called McGregor Fast for his brand, but it covers the fingers.
Right.
The UFC, of course, is box cut, so people like John Jones, of course, they have that long reach.
Right.
Like you said, they want to measure the distance.
Right.
And that does happen, man. Would you say a newer design glove would be like help the sport?
I definitely think it's be something that should be looked into and tested. And believe it or not, like the ABC, the Association of Boxing Commissions, kind of oversees the rules of boxing, MMA. They do this research, and there's doctors that we have conventions every year, and that doctors, they talk about this, they talk about the rules. All the commissions from all over the country and the world come to these conventions, and they talk about these type of things. And it's not as simple as like 3 guys say yes, 3 guys say no. I mean, it's a process.
Right.
Whenever the government's involved, which almost every country and state, especially the United States, has their own commission. Right. So you're trying to get 50 people, different states, to agree on rules is very difficult. And it took a long time to get there. And we're almost there. We're still not there, but we're almost there. So I think Joe Rogan has brought this up a million times about these special gloves. So I'm 100% for it. You know, why not? Why wouldn't we want our fighters to be safer? You know what I'm saying? So I think if we can do some, I wouldn't just switch. We need to test it. We need to have some fights where these gloves are used, because let's say you're a jiu-jitsu guy or a wrestler and it affects the way you can fight. Grip. Right. So I think it's just something that needs to be tested for sure.
No, definitely, man. Now, on the other episode that we brought up, man, you said that you had started off with boxing yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, you've been a referee here in Texas for over 10 years. Mm-hmm. Yourself, Jake Montalvo, who we brought up earlier. All good stuff, by the way.
Yeah. No, Jake's awesome, man.
Yeah, you guys have been in the sport for years, man. And like you said, I mean, with the UFC, I mean, you have covered the UFC fights here in Texas.
Yep.
Bellator, regional, amateur.
Yep.
With that being said, how long would you say it takes for somebody to actually get good at a craft? I mean, is it per person?
I mean, it is per person. I mean, in the past 10 years that I've been doing this, I've seen lots of judges and refs come and go. This is not a job if you want for people to be applauding you and be happy with you. You know, it is you can't have any ego as far as like what people think of you.
Take it personal.
Yeah, you can't take shit personal, man. I've been example, a fight where a fighter was just overmatched. It was an amateur fight, and it was 2 solid rounds of him just getting picked apart on his feet. He was bloodied up pretty bad. I warned him after the second round, like, listen, man, if you don't do a little bit more, I'm gonna stop this fight. And he did his best, but he just got whooped. So I stopped the fight. He never went down. But he was taking a beating. He was taking a whooping. And on the way out of the cage, he was unhappy. His corner was unhappy. His wife was really unhappy. She threatened to kill me on the way out. Called me all types of names, and I don't know what I'm doing. But, that's my job, bro. And I've been booed. Trust me, before COVID, this last summer, I did a fight in Corpus where I got booed pretty bad because the guy with the most supporters there lost, and I called it TKO, and they didn't like it because he bounced up. So it is what it is.
No, man, it is, man. But I personally, I respect what you do. I mean, the referees, Jake Montalvo, everybody else. I mean, it's a tough job, man. I mean, like you said, you're there, you listen, you hear the grunts, you hear people. I think at one point some snore before they even get knocked out.
Oh yeah.
But somebody had posted a while back, and I was like, man, we don't hear that, but you see it, man. And with that being said, man, we're getting close to call this episode, man. I do appreciate your time.
Thanks, Bob.
As always, I'm going to be bringing you in, man. Hopefully, do a couple more episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fun for me, bro. I appreciate it.
Man, I do appreciate you. Once again, man. Till next time, everybody listening up, subscribe, comment, any questions, put them on the YouTube channel. Till next time, follow up.